So I just came across a pretty astounding video from The Intercept that shows us how these questions to the White House, specifically in this video, Jen Psaki, are being framed surrounding the Russia and Ukraine issue. They're basically salivating at the mouth, begging on their hands and knees for war. Take a look at this. This video is several minutes long. And then I want to talk about it because it's just ridiculous.
Zelensky and other Ukrainian officials have made so clear that what they believe they need the most is more warplanes and fighter jets. So why is the U.S. assessing something different? Why does the U.S. believe they know better what Ukraine needs than what Ukrainian officials are saying they need the most?
It sounds like, we're pretty dug in on our position when it comes to the no-fly zone, when it comes to the MiGs, despite this growing bipartisan call in Congress to shift a little bit. So, to put it bluntly, is Zelensky wasting his time tomorrow asking for these things?
President Zelensky is going to be speaking to Congress tomorrow. He's been pushing for fighter jets, a no-fly zone. You have to hear some of those same requests tomorrow as well. Has the administration shifted on that at all?
Though, calling for a no-fly zone. They're a NATO member. They share a border with Russia. How do we view their calls for a no-fly zone?
And on President Zelensky's address tomorrow, of course, he is expected to ask for more assistance, as my colleague noted. A lot of the U.S. positions on that haven't changed, as you just said, when it comes to the no-fly zone. But on the aircraft specifically, the Pentagon said last week that Secretary Austin said they do not support the transfer of additional fighter aircraft at this time. Is that still the United States' position?
Would a strike in Poland on supplies or anything really automatically be met with a forceful response, or simply a conversation amongst allies about how to respond?
There are reports that a Russian drone made its way into Polish airspace before going back to Ukraine and being shot down. Does a drone into Poland count?
Former ambassador to Ukraine, Maria Ivanovich, has been quite outspoken recently, and she said we need to mitigate risk, but it's also true that not taking greater action comes with a risk as well, because Putin is a bully and he only understands strength. Is the president showing enough strength against Putin? If Putin were to use chemical weapons, would it change the president's thinking when it comes to these MiGs, taking the no-fly zone off the table, but at least on this issue? Are you prepared? Can you give us any more details about what that threat means of severe consequences? The president obviously made the same threat last week. Is that purely economic consequences, or would there potentially be a military threat?
Please, can we please bomb Russian planes? Can we please shoot them out of the sky? I want to go to World War III so bad. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. That's essentially what they said, with me paraphrasing. I mean, what even was that? And I wrote a couple of things down here because it's difficult to remember all of that jargon, but it's just some of the things that stood out to me. They said they're trying to just pick at every little thing to try to justify a no-fly zone, sending fighter jets. I mean, they want war. They want the U.S. and NATO to directly get involved with this war between Russia and the Ukraine. I mean, they're begging for it. They're on their hands and knees, salivating over it. They would want nothing more than to see the amount of bloodshed get magnified times 100. They want more blood. They want more death. They want more carnage. These people want destruction is what they want. That's not me saying it. That's them. You just watched the video. They just said it. They want destruction. They want death. They want nukes in the air. That's what they want. They're asking for it. I don't know what you want me to say. Now, I wrote down a couple things that I thought was just striking to me. She says, one of the reporters, I mean, they're just grasping at straws here. What about a strike on Poland? Like Poland supplies, would that garner a military response or what? Like a really harsh? I mean, the theoretical scenarios that they're coming up with. Well, what if this happens? Can we bomb them then? That's basically what they're asking. A Russian drone made its way into Poland airspace. I don't know. Maybe we should nuke Moscow as a result of it. That just seems like a step too far. I'm sorry. Putin is a bully and he only understands strength. So therefore, fuck it. Let's bomb a major Russian city as a result because he deserves it. I mean, I don't understand. And she brought up, oh, Biden said they're going to face severe consequences. Are they going to be economic consequences or can we actually see people die? Corporate media is a joke. They're a joke. They're running 24-hour coverage. If you turn on the news right now, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, you're going to see them covering the situation in Ukraine. And they're going to cover it all day, every day, until this blows over. And it's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. I made a video about worthy and unworthy victims. And I brought out Noam Chomsky and Edward Herman's propaganda model to aid me in my conversation about that specific topic. And I talked about how the unworthy victims, the victims of enemy states, or not of enemy states, the victims of allied states, of client states, and our own victims are deemed unworthy. A couple of examples: the Afghani people, the Yemeni people, the people in Palestine, the people in Syria, Somalia, all the rest of it. All the people that we and our clients terrorize, they don't get 24-hour coverage. They don't get the sympathy and empathy that we try to get the American people to feel for the people in the Ukraine who deserve it. But I mean, the contradictions are vast and they're obvious and extremely blatant. And you'd be a fool to deny it. And the part that I love the most is that they're showing this 24-hour coverage to the American people, to the American public, A, as if they can do something about it. B, as if this situation is going to affect them in some major way. Newsflash, we're currently undergoing an inflation. A lot of people are being hurt by this inflation. We're seeing just prices go up at an exponential level. How are we dealing with that? Are they going to talk about the fact that Congress members are currently profiting off the war in Ukraine right now? Reporting is done on this, really good reporting. Bought stock in Lockheed Martin, other defense industries and contractors and what have you, and they're making money off of this war. They don't want to talk about that. Oh, why? Because corruption is, it's just another Tuesday in Congress. Yeah, corruption is granted. You're going to get corruption. It's Washington. It's politics. It is what it is. Look, man, the U.S. has been embarrassed on this front. I mean, the way they approach this has been entirely ridiculous, calling the demands in the early days of the negotiations with the Russians non-starters, not looking or acknowledging the actual grievances that the Russians had. Not saying that the Russian invasion was correct in any way. You can't justify it, but the facts are the facts. And here we are with our media begging on their hands and knees, salivating at their mouths for another world war, because that's what it would be if the U.S. did get directly involved, especially in the way that they want to, with shooting down Russian planes, declaring no-fly zones, sending in air jets, and all the rest of it. But I have a solution. I actually do have a solution for this. So instead of declaring a no-fly zone, instead of sending in fighter jets and more weapons and all of it, I think this is what we should do. And I think I'm correct on this. We should send all of the news people and corporate media people, all these journalists that are asking for the U.S. to get more directly involved in this, we should gather them together, put them on a plane, and send them off to Ukraine. We'll give them vests, we'll give them guns, we'll give them grenades, whatever it is that they need. And we'll allow them to save the country. Yes, yes, let's allow these very brave and upstanding journalists who want nothing to do more but fight war. Let's let them go and liberate the Ukraine and save them from their great hardship.